Hello, I'm Charlotte and this is Books and Bargains. Today I'm coming to you with a video of all the releases that I am excited for in July. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I used to do these videos monthly and then I just kind of stopped. However, especially now the shops are reopened and things, I am obsessed with looking for new releases, seeing what's coming out. I just really like to get hyped about books. Now that I also write a column in my local magazine about books and I will soon be volunteering at the library, I like to keep on top of what's coming out each month. I'm going to do this in date order. Please let me know below if you prefer this or if you prefer genre. As you'll probably know if you watch my channel, I read such a range of books. At the moment, I am still into everything, but I couldn't tell you the last time I picked up a thriller. I've gone a lot more down the middle grade and fluffy romance route recently. However, I think I've got quite a nice mix of books here, and a lot of these books are new releases from authors that I already know that I love. So let's just dig straight into them. So on July the 1st is a book that I have pre-ordered, and that is Leah Johnson's Rise to the Sun. I read and absolutely loved Leah Johnson's You Should See Me in a Crown last year. I will just say, if it looks like I'm either A, not excited about some of these books, or B, looks like I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm having a real fibromyalgia brain fog day today. So I have got my notes, but yeah, I apologise for that in advance. So first of all, like I say, we have Leah Johnson's Rise to the Sun. I was going to say You Should See Me in a Crown, but that was her book that I read last year. And this, I have mentioned before that I don't really like to read a whole synopsis. So the things that sold me on this book is A, that it is by Leah Johnson and I loved her last book. So I've had this pre-ordered for ages. And also it deals with grief. And I don't know why that's such a theme that I love in YA. And it is sapphic, I believe. So your girl's gonna buy it. Give me any queer YA and it's going straight on my list. One of the best things that I liked about You Should See Me in a Crown is that it was just so joyous. It was just full of joy. And I feel that this one is going to be slightly more hard-hitting, but I hope we still see some of the fabulous joy that Leah Johnson brought to her last book. Then on the 8th of July, another book that I have pre-ordered is Julia Tuff's Hexed. I saw this all over Bookstagram, so this is definitely a Bookstagram made me buy it book, and it says that it is Sabrina the Teenage Witch crossed with sex education, and that is all I needed to know. I am a complete Sabrina the Teenage Witch fangirl, not the one that was on Netflix, we don't talk about that here, but the original Melissa Joan Hart Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and I was sold. So I put that on my pre-order list and pre-ordered it when Waterstones had double points on. That is a tip that I would give to anyone. I always do these bulk pre-orders when Waterstones have double points on because you don't have to pay until it comes. So I've got a separate account that I set up and I just use that, and then it just feels like presents to myself throughout the year. It's great. So also on the 8th of July is the paperback release of Ruthless Women. I almost bought this one in hardback, and as you all know, I don't generally buy hardbacks, so for me to almost buy it, but I reasoned with myself just to wait till it came out in paperback. This reckons that this is a kind of Devil Wears Prada, but for TV shows. So it's set on an island where a show is being made, and apparently the producers are coming up with more and more ridiculous storylines to try and get it back up to a #1 spot. And from what I believe, it's how far the two main characters will go to make sure that the show is a success. And again, I've heard great things on Bookstagram about this one, so had to have that on this list. Two more that are released on the 8th of July are books that I have already read and loved and just want to get my hands on in paperback. And the first one of these is The Sinitta by Megan Campisi. I have said before that I'm not into historical fiction, and this year I've totally turned that on its head. This is believed to be a speculative fiction rather than a historical fiction. However, Didn't bother me, really loved it. And I've got an itch on my nose. However, this basically follows a sinitta, and from what I can gather, this is a thing that actually existed, and it was where when somebody died, they would confess their sins to the sin eater, then specific foods would be prepared for their sins, which the sin eater would then eat, so the person could go on to heaven and the sin eater would keep their sins. And this book is very graphic, so if you're not into graphic descriptions, I would maybe pass on this one. But I loved it. It was fantastic, and I can't wait to get my hands on a paperback. I just hope that the paperback is as gorgeous as the hardback was, because I sometimes think that we get a bit shafted as paperback lovers. I think sometimes there's a beautiful hardback and then the paperback is a bit meh. And actually, segueing quite nice there is Sarah Crosson's Here is the Beehive. This is Sarah Crosson's first adult novel, I believe, and the hardback is such a beautiful cover, and then the paperback, we are left with this. Anyway, it is a novel in verse, and it follows our main character who is dealing with the death of her partner. However, she was the woman that he was having an affair with, so when she has to speak to his wife to sort out his estate, she finds herself in this kind of strange position whereby she can't really talk to anybody about her grief, because she loved this man but he was never really hers. And yeah, I thought it was a really good book. I generally don't like books about cheating, but I think I've said recently on this channel that as long as the author is not trying to make me empathise with the person that's cheating, and that, as long as it's more, this is what's happened and that's that, make up your own mind about them, I'm pretty okay with it. And then on to my favourite day of July, the 22nd, because it happens to be my birthday. There are quite a few books being released that I am excited about, and I just can't quite get over how many good books are coming out on my birthday. So the first two of these have been kindly sent to me by publishers to talk about here. I am on blog tours for this first one, but not the second one, and I haven't been asked to talk about them here. It was just part and parcel with me. If you send me a book, I'm going to talk about it on this YouTube channel. So the first of those is This Is My Truth by Yasmin Rahman. Now this is a YA book, and it is basically set by, there are two stories that we're following. Amani, who has an outwardly perfect family life, and her best friend Huda, who lives in foster care. I don't see many books that go down kids living in foster care, so I'm really interested to see how that is handled. And an anonymous, I don't know whether it's a blog or a website, yeah, it's a prank blog that starts giving out people's secrets, and it kind of gave me that like Gossip Girl vibe. So when the email dropped into my inbox asking if I wanted to be on this tour, I wasn't going to say no. And it is also a stunning paperback. And also on the 22nd of July is Ali McNamara's Hope and Happiness in Bluebell Wood. This dropped into my inbox when I was trying to decide which fluffy book to read next, and jumped at it. I absolutely love fluffy books at the moment, and I think they get a bad rep in the readers' world, but they are just what I need. I haven't read the synopsis of this one. I don't need to read the synopsis of this one. It is a Bluebell Wood, it has birds on the front, and it's Ali McNamara. I am gonna love it. 4 books that come out in July next that are all still on my NetGalley to read list, because earlier in the year Charlotte thought that she could read a lot more than she could and went on a bit of a NetGalley binge, and I'm still working my way through that. But the first of these I have already started reading, and I have already ordered myself a copy of the paperback, and that is Tanya Burns' Afterlove. And if this wasn't already on the blurb, I wouldn't tell you this, but you know from the blurb that one of the girls dies, and it's about their relationship after death, which is really unique for YA. It kind of gives me Ghost vibes, and Ghost the musical absolutely tore my heart into. So I kind of wish that I didn't know that, because I'm about 40% of the way in now and the big thing has just happened. So I was a little bit confused at first, but now I'm really into it. I'm really, really loving it. This is a sapphic love story and it's definitely going to be at least a 4-star. Bold claim when I haven't finished it yet. The next is The Art of Loving You by Amelia Henley, and I started reading her debut novel. I can't think what it's called. I can't see it either. Anyway, I began reading her debut novel about this time last year, and I think this book is going to be the same in that it's kind of marketed as quite a fluffy book. You will see from the cover that it looks like quite a fluffy book, and her first book, I think it's Things We Almost Had, or the life we almost had, that's it. And this needs big content warnings for endometriosis and loss of a child and things like that, because at the time that I started reading this, I was still trying to get my head around my hysterectomy and my endometriosis and the things that had taken from my life. So it was not what I wanted to read about. And this book, again, feels like it's going to have a hard-hitting undertone to it, but I think I'm in a better position now to read that. Also on my NetGalley, I have The Therapist by B.A. Paris, and the paperback of that is coming out again on the 22nd of July. And I read The Dilemma by B.A. Paris last year, and that had very kind of mixed reviews in the booktube world. It was all set over like a 24-hour period, and it was from 3 different points of view, but I just really liked that finding out things in real time as the characters were. That really worked for me, and so looking forward to seeing what B.A. Paris has come up with here. And then the last book that I've still got on my NetGalley is You and Me on Vacation by Emily Henry, and I am kicking myself that I haven't picked this up yet, because Beach Read was one of my favourite books of last year, and again, haven't read the synopsis, just went, oh, Emily Henry has a new book, click, request, thank you very much. And the last 2 books that I've got to talk about to you today are also released on the 22nd of July, and the first of these is Beth Garrett's The Sister Switch. I have a lot of Beth Garrett's books that I haven't read yet, but this one really caught my eye as it is her first, I believe, middle grade, and it's a kind of living in the other person's shoes stories, which that is my jam. I am down for that. And so with this beautiful cover, thought I'd tell you about it. And while I'm still on a bit of a middle grade binge, I have also pre-ordered Edie and the Box of Flits, which is supposed to be like a updated version of The Borrowers. Edie has this little box filled with little winged humans, I think. Well, you know, little winged things. And yeah, I wanted to put that on there. So I hope this rambling video has made some sense to you. If it hasn't, I apologise. I'm going to go take my makeup off, have a bath, and possibly go to bed, even though it is only 6:30. That is how my brain is today. The next couple of videos you will see from me is a vlog on Sunday, followed next Wednesday by my June wrap up. There is also a charity shop haul coming to you soon. I'm not sure when I'm going to fit that in yet. And as always, please let me know below if you did like this video. And until next time, look after yourselves. Bye.